making some pasta sauce today. So these are frozen, hard solid. I have them on low, and I do have water in the bottom of this pot. And so we're just gonna cook them down a little bit. These will burst, the skins will, and then we'll run it through my processor. You saw how big this pot was full. It was overflowing to like right here. Now this is all kind of melted down. I'm gonna put this now, even though some of it's frozen, I'll get the stuff from the bottom first. And we'll put it in a bowl and bring it over to my sauce master and grind it down. Okay, so this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons, and since this is four times, I put my garlic in 1 tablespoon, and this is minced, and that's what they want. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 7. And if I need more, I can always add more. 2 tablespoons of olive oil recipe, so I'm just gonna eyeball that. This is not olive oil, this is hot oil. So we're just gonna fill that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to go ahead and do 7, just like I did with the garlic. Do 7 tablespoons of oregano. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fine salt. I'm going to use pink Himalayan salt. And since it says half a teaspoon, I'm going to go ahead and go with all that's in there. So I was using 3 teaspoons to make a total. 2, 3. Just going to go with 4. Half a teaspoon of organic sugar. Now, sugar is one of those things a lot of people put in carrots instead of sugar. Because carrots have a lot of sugar in it, and it adds a little sweetness, as also will add a little bulk to your tomatoes. I'm not going to put in either. I'm going to put in monk fruit, and I'm going to wait until this comes to a boil and it's cooked everything in, and then I'm going to add my sugar. I always add my sugar last. My pot's not even hot at this point. So I add my sugar last because I want to do that to taste. Half a teaspoon is not going to be enough for one recipe. It never has been for me. So you kind of want to do that and play with that to taste. And then also, you know, you want, everybody has different taste buds. And if I want to add more garlic, I can add more garlic. If I want to add more basil. But the sugar, if it's what you want to, if your recipe tastes bitter, that's why they add the sugar. So if it's really bitter, you're going to need more sugar. So that's just something I played with over the years. So keep in mind that so you don't have to use regular sugar at all. You can use an alternative to sugar. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use monk fruit because it's best for our diet. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to taste it, add the monk fruit, and do it according to how, because I took all the seeds and stems and anything that would cause it to be bitter, the skins, out of here. Another thing that I might need to add to this recipe to give it some bulk is some paste. In fact, I might go ahead and do that. Add 4 cans of paste to this because I've had to do that to the past when I've canned it. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just take the time to boil it down and not add any paste, because sometimes the paste can add some bitterness to your recipe too. Because a lot of times in the paste is derived from the skins of the tomatoes, and that can add bitterness. So if you don't want the bitterness in your recipe, take time to boil it down. And if you don't want to use sugar, you have that alternative of using carrots that are finely grated. That is a good way to add bulk and add that sweetness too. We're gonna, instead of adding real sugar, we're gonna play with adding monk fruit. I've add monk fruit to the stuff that isn't shelf stable. And we will, once we bottle this up to can it, we will add a little citrus acid. Stick with me and we'll taste this later once it's been cooking for a while, couple hours, and give it a taste then. Quick is, if you like things spicy, I don't add this because my mother-in-law doesn't like things spicy at all, but I really like adding hot peppers to it. My husband doesn't like the hot peppers in it anymore, so now I just do it to taste at the table. So, but this is, you know, if you have a spicy home, this would be really good in there. And this is nice and hot. Things have come together, so I'm going to give it its first taste. I think I'm going to add a little more garlic in there, but I'm also going to add some more sugar. So let's get maybe a couple more things of garlic. I really like doing this. Maybe I can link a video to this. I take our garlic, grind it up in a food processor, and then I add some olive oil, or we add avocado oil, and just so it kind of turns into a paste. And then we go ahead and use a cookie scooper, cookie scooper right here, and I just put it on a tray, cookie sheet, put it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then I put it in a bag and they stay separate. And then we have garlic all year long, and it's ready to go. It's so easy to work with. This is our favorite way to preserve garlic. Over here, and I'll show you in a minute, I already have I have an electric pot that I use for canning. It's a canner, it's made by Ball. And I use that all the time. I love because of this thing right here when you're filling up water. So I need to go get some more jars out of my place that I keep jars. Okay, so I just added a cup of sugar to this. This is at the consistency I want now. And so the garlic is in there, the extra sugar's in there. We'll taste it a little bit and a little bit just to make sure it's at the right kind of sugar amount that we want. And then I have our jars over here starting to heat up, and this is on. Make sure it's level, and we're about to get canning. I really had to play with the sugar. My mother-in-law would like it a little more sweet, but it's right there for me, so I didn't add any more sugar. But I added about, for this jar, this thing is like a little more than halfway full. I added a cup and a half of monk fruit. That is not an approved canning recipe thing. So canning police, don't come for me. I know it's not. And then I'm doing 1/4 of an inch of head space. And then I am adding my 1/2 teaspoon of citric acid and giving it a little stir. And I just go ahead and add that to each jar. I'm going to wipe that down with vinegar and then put my lid on. And I want to get this whole thing, a little handy wide mouth thing. You can always add sugar later if, like my mother-in-law doesn't think it's sweet enough. I think it's sweet enough. Because I don't want it too sweet, because you don't want, you know, different things call for different, depends on what I'm making, you know. So, but she's a real sweet tooth, so she likes things extra sweet too, as well. Of course, I'm making a huge mess. Okay, wipe that off. 1/2 teaspoon of citric acid. Stir that in there. I think I'm gonna have to take a little bit out again. It's right at the cusp. Not as good at eyeballing anymore. Now you want 1/2 of sauce. We're gonna can this up, and I'm just gonna put the camera down because I need to get this going fast. Now that it's at a good rolling boil, I'm gonna do it for 35 minutes. I have my timer on over there. I'm 1/4 of an inch, but it's 1/2 an inch. And 35 minutes in your water bath canner. And so that should be it. There is no meat in this sauce. Now, if you have meat in it, you do have to pressure can it. I add my meat later. We grow our own pork, so we like to make our own sausage. So we have that all made up, so we don't add our meat until later. So anyways, that's how it gets done, and I'll show you when we are all finished and our canner is done. We have 16 minutes left, and then I gotta let my canner cool down all the way because this second batch is warm but not hot like it's gonna be, and we'll let it cool down, and then we'll put it in the canner and let everything come up to temperature around the same time. I'll put it in the canner while it's warm and not boiling anymore and all of that good stuff. So my canner is done. So I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes. We're gonna let that come down from the hard rolling. And we take them out, we put them, I'm gonna put them on this glass thing that I have here, or a double thick towel. Cool for 5 minutes, and then take it out of the canner, and then I'm gonna let it cool it down a little bit more, and then I'll add this second batch and do that later. I do lasagna maybe once a month, maybe. So that's all we need it for, is to make lasagna. I do keto lasagna, and then this has monk fruit in it. So how you make sure that it's sealed, you let it sit overnight and cool down all the way. You take the top off, the rim, this rim right here, and then you just give it a light little like this and make sure that that is sealed. And then you can wipe it down with soapy water, and as you clean it up with soapy water, if it doesn't come off, it's sealed really good. Put it in a cool, dark place on a shelf somewhere, and you have spaghetti sauce whenever you're ready. We are still getting tomatoes out of the garden this time of year, and so we either will do salsa, but we'll do those in smaller jars. And we love to make green tomato salsa at the end of the year too. But we're still getting those tomatoes in, so this should be good enough for doing lasagna once or twice a month. If we already have another jar in the fridge right now If we need to do some more jars, we'll do some more jars. If this doesn't make us through, then we'll make more jars next year. But I think this will do. We're on a carnivore diet, so we rarely make anything with sauce in it or tomato sauce in it. So we just like to have it for a little cheat here and there. So God bless you guys. We'll see you guys next time here on Hedgehog's Homestead. Bye.